Hey everybody, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel, and I'm going to do an angel card reading video for you now, drawing cards for the week starting Monday, March the 16th through to the 22nd, 2020. Yeah, got the year right. Still not quite in the swing of 2020, I have to say. So Monday's card is an angel called Ray, and the message is about yoga and exercise. Now, I know not everybody is down with yoga. Personally, I love it. Still don't get there as often as I would like, but I appreciate that it's not everybody's jam. So it would also be about any other kind of exercise which brings you stillness. So Pilates, Tai Chi, intentional walk, mindful walking, that sort of thing. I guess even something like surfing. Well, I'm not a surfer, but anything that's basically going to help bring through some stillness as well as the physical benefits. It's not about doing a massive sweat session. Obviously that has benefits as well. This is more about exercise that's going to benefit you on an energetic level. So it's to bring through some clarity, some stillness, so that you can better receive those messages from the divine. So that would be super helpful probably every day, to be honest, but it looks like Monday the 16th in particular, that's going to shine through. Oh boy, two cards have come up. So for Tuesday, we have gentleness and we also have spiritual understanding. So let's start with gentleness. Very similar to Monday in that we have this theme of needing to really quiet down our minds. It's not possible to get total stillness over a sustained period in your mind. The mind is running your body. It's got a lot to do. It can't be still forever. The idea is to really turn down the volume, not mute it completely, but to turn down the volume on a regular basis. And that's because we need to allow time for our intuition, our intuitive messages to come to the fore. And yeah, we get such great clarity when we really tune down that, hey, you've got to do this, call this person, email this person, don't forget to do that. Oh, there's a birthday coming up, don't forget to start planning that. You know, that kind of hustle. It's something that, yes, it's important, but not 24/7. A lot of the reason that many people struggle to sleep is because they're in a constant, they're unable to shut down their mind and be comfortable with stillness because they feel like they're failing. They measure their value by productivity, and they feel like if they're not doing anything, then this is not a conscious thought, this is more operating at a subconscious level. They feel like they're failing in some way, or that it feels scary to them because it's going against that kind of safety mechanism that's been keeping them from stopping because that feels too unsafe. So again, this idea about being gentle with yourself, it's also about a little self-care in terms of making good choices about how you spend your time, which was a big theme in recent weeks. I can't remember if it was last week, it came through, the weeks kind of blur together for me, but I talked recently about making good choices about who you spend your time with, spending time with people who are gossiping, who are intent on tearing other people down. That's not really great for your energy. You will take, even if you shield yourself, you're still gonna be affected by that. So it might be a good idea to seek out people who are a little more calm, a little more accepting within themselves, so they're not trying to, focus on other people in order to feel good about themselves, all that sort of thing. Not reading or watching documentaries or anything that's really provoking at this time. And being kind to yourself, of course, super important. So really watch the internal narrative of, oh, you screwed that up again, you're such a failure. You know how that can kind of escalate. The other card, spiritual understanding, is about, there's a lot of different ways I could interpret this. I'm going to keep this pretty simple really, because it could go massively in depth. Those of you who know about sacred geometry will not fail to notice the symbolism here of that. So it's really about deepening your spiritual understanding, and as I mentioned, it's when we are better able to be still in our minds that we're able to get that. So there may be the predominant theme for you here, doing what you can to really deepen your spiritual understanding. Perhaps if you felt called to do sort of workshops or read certain spiritual books, anything like that that's been calling to you lately, this would confirm it's right for you to go ahead with that. If you're watching this video, there's no doubt you have some spiritual abilities because you've been pulled towards my energy. Like attracts like. That is the law of attraction at work. So I know that you are probably a light worker, and you are certainly someone who's on a spiritual journey, even though it will look completely different to mine and doesn't have to adhere to the things that I adhere to or that resonate for me. It's a very individual process, and you need to tune into what feels right for you. I talked about this in a recent blog post actually, so you can go to my website if you want to see that. Read that, www.onegroundedangel.com. I wrote about some of the things that I've learned on my spiritual journey, and one of those things is you've got to listen to your own intuition and go with what feels right for you. Don't try and mimic other people or be a sheep, because it just won't work in something like this, which is spiritual journey is all about authenticity. So you might get upside down. You might get clarity around something that you've been pondering or something that's been coming up for you lately. That's one of the things that can really come up with a card like that. Wednesday, be brave. Oh, I love this. The symbolism here of, the angel here just looks sort of content, but a little bit concerned also, because she's leaning on, a spiritual animal here her spirit animal to give her some strength. It's interesting the way we talk about courage and bravery is we think about it as something that comes from externally, but it's not, particularly we might talk about alcohol as giving us Dutch courage. The truth is that courage comes from within us. We already have it. We're so in our layers of stress, we're not kind of accessing it. So when you ask someone like Archangel Michael, who's associated with courage, for a boost of courage, that's not going to be brought in from outside or from above. It's going to be within you, and it's just going to be brought to the fore, and some of the layers or the barriers that you have against it will be cleared in order for you to access that. I know I'm oversimplifying here. Brave can be on a spectrum. There can be lots of little ways you might need to be brave, or it could be something really, really big. And if it is something really big, I hope you're working with an expert, like a spiritual coach or something, to help you really break through that. Those layers that might be preventing you from, that might be, keeping you living it in your safety stuff, instead of taking some, not risks, but pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, which is what we need to do in order to grow. That's what we're all here to do. So be brave. I should also say, this could be really low grade stuff. So maybe it's just asking you to be a bit more brave in your daily life. If you're not facing a particular challenge right now, maybe do something that scares you a little bit today. So Thursday, cancel, clear, delete. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you'll know that I often interpret this as Control, Alt, Delete, because that's just something that resonates more for me. The card is about noticing how your mindset can determine the experiences that you attract. For example, if you're a negative person, I don't think this is anybody watching, but just as an example, if you're a very negative person who spends their entire time, not entire, but a lot of time complaining, you're going to attract more situations to complain about, because that is what you're putting out there. And I know someone who does this. So really be careful of what you're putting out. And that includes your thoughts. It's not just what you're speaking about and what you're talking about with your friends. Really look at, and it's not about being positive, life is glorious all the time. That's not realistic. It's just about noticing if something's coming up for you, how can you reframe that? So still acknowledging how you feel about it. I'm certainly not advocating suppressing your emotions. I'm just saying, how can you reframe it once you've processed those, so that you're not going to continue to attract similar situations? And that's really just about holding hope that things can be different in the future. And sometimes you can just look at what you do. If things aren't going well, look at what you do have in your life. There's got to be things that are good in your life. Your children, where you live, your neighbourhood. I don't know, it could be anything. It could be something as simple as having a delicious meal. When we focus on gratitude, you start to shift that balance of what you're attracting, and attracting more things to be grateful for, more blessings. So just noticing what's going on in your mind. I touched on this earlier. What is that internal dialogue saying? Nothing ever works out for me. That's not great, because it means that you're going to attract more things that don't go well for you. And if that is something that's playing out in your mind and you're struggling to kind of address that, you might like to talk to me about energy healing, because sometimes that can be a limiting belief that's really wedged deep in your subconscious because of maybe you grew up with particularly cynical parents, or something happened in your life and you just, in your past, and it's just really stuck in there deep. So that was Thursday. Friday, flying free. We had this one a month or two ago, I forget. Flying free. The symbolism of the bird, I like that symbolism because it is something that's overhead. It's often when we talk about a bird's eye view, it's often only when we're looking, having that greater perspective of looking down, we can see, oh, I'm spending a lot of time worrying about this thing and not enough time focusing on these important relationships in my life. And I'm spending a lot of time worrying about what's going to go wrong, and only a small portion over here on the things that are actually going really great in my life. So, I mean, maybe that could be something you take from it. It is about freedom. So looking at where you're stuck or where you feel a little bit trapped, and asking, how have I contributed to this? Now, I know there are things that come up in our lives that we don't have a lot of control over, but we always have control over how we respond to it. So, for example, if there is, let's use like an injury or something incredibly frustrating, I know. If you're injured, maybe, maybe looking at, yes, acknowledging that that's a bit of a crap situation, but looking at, oh, this is an opportunity for me to slow down a bit and actually learn how to ask other people for help. Looking for maybe a lesson, or just even something small out of that. I got a day off work, that's pretty good. Anything at all just to change your mindset a little can help. So setting yourself free from that, this is horrible, I'm stuck here, I can't, my life's interrupted, that's not what I wanted, which is all totally understandable, but just starting to set yourself free by going, actually, here's an opportunity for me to change the script a little bit here. It's a very empowering message, that one about taking back control and making sure you're not the one keeping yourself stuck. I think often with control and power, it's kind of getting that balance between what can I control, what is the universe controlling, because there are things that we don't have any control over. There are a lot that we do, but as I say, even when we don't, we always have control over how we respond to it, and that is, again, Viktor Frankl stuff. I know I talked about this last week. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, a hugely transformative book in my life, and talks about how our last freedom is to choose the way we think and feel about any given situation. Yes, easier said than done, but it does become easier the more you practice it. So Saturday, 21st of March, we have the goddess Ostara. I don't know how to say that, but it's where Easter originated from. She is the one that Easter was derived from, if you live in a Western country, and the message is about fertility. Now, if you can see this, there are Easter bunnies and Easter eggs on here, regardless of how you feel about Easter or whether you're familiar with it. That symbolism of starting anew, things being hatched, the fertility idea is very, it's a great theme and a great message to tap into. We don't have to wait for Easter to do that either. So looking at new things coming through, new projects, new ideas, can be literal if you're having a baby, of course. But the message says it is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. So I feel like we're still getting that idea about being empowered. What can I do to change this? What can I start? So yeah, I feel like that's a big theme for the week, actually. It is symbolizing the new, but it reminds us that nothing happens without our kind of, I was going to say intervention, but I don't think it's the right word, but us being active in that process. That's a better way to put it. So let's go to Sunday, 22nd. Family. We are family. So this could be your family of origin or your family of choice. That's okay. It's, of course, always trust your intuition on what this is speaking to you. It is there's a number of different ways it shows up. It might be asking you to reach a state of acceptance or peace within a family situation that is bothering you. Sometimes it can indicate that the problem is already being taken care of by spirit, and that's always a good thing. But sometimes the onus is on you to instead of trying to wrestle back control or hold on to the situation so tightly that there's no room for the universe to bring through solutions, maybe you reaching a state of acceptance. And sometimes there's a bit of grieving that needs to happen in that, grieving for the relationships that we wanted to have with this family member that we can't have because they're not in the right state for us to do it. Whatever's going on for you. I know there's going to be a lot of different ways this could show up. So it might be about having some more compassion for various family members. It might be about spending more time with a family member that you have been, if your intuition has been sort of giving you prompts on that. Sometimes you get I get this every now and then, you get a nudge, message your sister, like something like that, and I'll go, yeah, I'll get around to it. And then it comes again, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it now, because I know if I don't, you know, it's usually happening because either she needs to hear from me, or because it's helping me kind of come back to what's important and nourishing, you know, one of the many important relationships in my life. So yeah, it is indicating difficult situations with family, but there can also be that positive message of you moving forward within that situation, of you taking back charge of, well, I can't change what's happened, but I can change how I move forward, and that will be of me with just being at peace now, and choosing not to hold on to this. And what you do in terms of managing the relationship is really up to you, of course, but it's just about perhaps changing your mindset, changing your approach to it, maybe not holding on so tightly. Looking at the card, I do get a sense of mothers and children. So I wonder if because we had the mother card 2 weeks ago, it could be about a situation with your mother, or it could be about you as a mother if you're a woman, that sort of thing. So looking for the lessons maybe could be part of it. Yeah, there's so many different ways that can show up. If it's not, you know, a situation where there's grievance or resentment or wounding, it could be just about needing to spend more time with your family and the people who matter to you, and in whatever way is realistic for you given geography and busy schedules. So, as I mentioned, taking back power, big theme for the week. Taking back charge of our thoughts so that we are in control of the way we respond to situations, and a big theme around stillness in our minds. That's really it for the week. One thing I did forget to mention with this card, this cancel, clear, delete one, is it's sort of a practical message in that you can say, if you notice your mind going down a track that is indicating something you don't want to create in your life, or you don't want to manifest, saying Control Alt Delete, I say, or cancel, clear, delete, can cancel the energetic implications of that thought. You cannot turn back your thoughts, but you can make sure they are not sending a request to the universe inadvertently. So that can be something you can take on board. You can also ask Archangel Jophiel, the angel associated with beauty, to beautify your thoughts. I do that sometimes. It can be helpful. Obviously, Jophiel's not in charge of what I think I am, but it can just help clear things up a bit, so I'm more inclined to make better choices about where my mind is going. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. As always, the cards will be on Instagram every day at One Grounded Angel if you're not already following me, or you can go to my Facebook page, which is also called One Grounded Angel, and my website is the place to go if you want to book in sessions to work with me for an angel card reading or an energy healing. And my angel card readings also include a portion of energy healing to address the things that have come up in the card, to clear some of those subconscious layers that the cards indicate are keeping you stuck at the moment, and some healing as well to give you positive energy to help you move forward. That's kind of one of my points of difference as an angel card reader. And of course, energy healing is very concentrated on clearing wounding, limiting beliefs, fears, all that sort of thing. So onegroundedangel.com is the place to go to find out more about that, and you can go to the bookings form and let me know where you're living so I can give you some appointments in your time zone and the prices in your currency. Thanks everybody, and have a great week.